Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees for the Village of Woodridge on this Thursday, May 5th, 2022. We call the meeting to order and the time is 7 p.m. and we ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Martinez,
Present.
Trustee Blair,
Present.
Trustee Kagan,
Present.
Trustee Abbott,
Present.
Trustee Krusek,
Present.
Trustee Page,
Present.
Mayor Cunningham,
Present.
quorum established.
Thank you very much. If you would please join us in a moment of silence this evening, followed by the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, which I'm going to ask our audience to please lead us in this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we have some special recognition items. Going to ask each of the trustees and our clerk, as well as our village administrator. Going to ask Trustee Abbott to please read the first proclamation for us this evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To all whom these presents shall come, greetings proclamation. Public works service provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewers, streets and highways, public buildings, fleet maintenance, solid waste collection, and snow removal. And the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Therefore, the Village of Woodridge proclaims the week of May 15th through May 21st, 2022 as National Public Works Week.
Thank you, Trustee Abbott. Trustee Krusek.
Whereas public service is among the most noble and demanding of professions, and whereas, the Village of Woodridge employs 123 public employees in both full-time and part-time positions, and whereas each day these employees meet the needs of Woodridge's dynamic and diverse population through their efforts, and whereas the mayor and board wish to recognize the many important contributions of village employees, the village does hereby proclaim the week of May 1st through May 7th, 2022 as Public Service Recognition Week in the Village of Woodridge.
Thank you very much, Trustee Krusek. And Trustee Page.
Whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind all citizens about the critical role of our community's largely unknown guardians of public safety, our local code officials who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings. And whereas through the implementation of safety codes and inspections, we recognize that the structural integrity of buildings is ensured and that countless lives have been saved, we therefore declare the month of May Building Safety Month.
Thank you, Trustee Page. Clerk Hennigan.
Whereas the office of municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas 2022 marks the 53rd anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week, the Village of Woodridge proclaims that the week of May 1st through May 7th, 2022 as Municipal Clerks Week.
Thank you very much, Clerk Hennigan. Trustee Martinez.
Whereas Jewish American Heritage Month is observed during the month of May to celebrate and pay tribute to the contributions of generations of Jewish Americans who have helped weave the fabric of American history, culture, and society, and to the contributions American Jews continue to make today. And whereas 2022 marks the 42nd annual celebration of achievements and contributions by Jewish Americans, starting with the establishment of Jewish American Week in 1980. And whereas Jewish American Heritage Month acknowledges achievement of American Jews in the fields of sports, arts, entertainment, medicine, business, science, government, military service, music, and more. And whereas, as we celebrate the rich heritage of Jewish American community, we recognize that American Jews have worked tirelessly to strengthen the promise of religious freedom and civil rights by joining together with all faith to reject ignorance and intolerance. And whereas during Jewish American Heritage Month, we celebrate the hard-fought progress won through the struggle and sacrifice of Jewish Americans, and we rededicate ourselves to building a world where diversity is cherished and faith is protected. And whereas the Village of Woodridge is proud to honor the history, contributions, and achievements of Jewish Americans in our community throughout our state and nation, now therefore I, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of Village of Woodridge, DuPage, Will, and Cook, counties of Illinois, in recognition of Jewish Americans, past and present, in our community, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Jewish American Heritage Month.
Thank you very much, Trustee Martinez. Trustee Kagan.
Proclamation. Whereas Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month is observed during the month of May to celebrate and pay tribute to the contributions of generations of Asian Pacific Americans have made American history, society, and culture. On March 28, 1979, President Carter issued a presidential proclamation 4650 proclaiming the week beginning May 4th as Asian Pacific American Heritage Week. The 2022 national theme for the observance is Advancing Leaders Through Collaboration. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders can ride many ethnicities and languages, and their many achievements embody the American experience. American, Asian, and Pacific Island men and women are leaders in all aspects of American life, government, industry, science, medicine, the arts, the armed forces, education, and sports. The Village of Woodridge is proud to honor the history, contributions, and achievement of Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders in our community throughout the state and the nation. Therefore, I, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of the Village of Woodridge, DuPage, Will, and Cook Counties, Illinois, in recognition, proclaim May 2022 as Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month.
Thank you very much, Trustee Kagan. And Trustee Blair, I've asked our administrator to read the proclamation for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas the members of the law enforcement agency of the Village of Woodridge play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Woodridge. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of the law enforcement agency of the Village of Woodridge unceasingly provide a vital public service, now therefore I, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of the Village of Woodridge, DuPage, Will, and Cook, do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th to May 21st, 2022 as National Police Week, and call upon the citizens of Woodridge and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 15th to the 21st of 2022 with appropriate ceremonies and observances in which all of our people may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities. In so doing, have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. I further call upon all citizens of the Village of Woodridge to observe the 15th of May every year as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of their duty. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of all of our fallen heroes. And I should mention that in the spirit of commemorating our law enforcement officers and the week of May 15th to May 21st, Mayor Cunningham will be calling upon our community and our residents to participate by demonstrating their appreciation for our law enforcement by displaying a blue light bulb either on their porch or maybe perhaps in their living room window. And so we'll be getting some information out very shortly about how to do that, and if you will, and where to purchase some light bulbs right here in the community. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Administrator Stonich. Appreciate everyone reading the proclamations into our record. And we're going to go ahead and move to comments from the public. Under comments not related to our agenda this evening, I'm going to now pause for just a moment and going to acknowledge if we've received any written public comments that have been received prior to the meeting that do not relate to tonight's agenda. And if so, we would enter those into the record, please.
Mayor, we have not.
Thank you. Just going to ask if there are any members of the public who have joined us this evening who would like to make comment on any item not related to tonight's agenda.
We have no one electronically.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move to items that are on this evening's agenda. Going to again ask if we need to acknowledge any written public comments that have been received prior to tonight's meeting that do appear on our agenda this evening. And if so, we'll enter those into the public record.
We have not received any written comments, Mayor.
Going to ask again too, also if we've received or have anyone here in the public that would like to wish to make a comment this evening on any item that does relate on this evening's agenda. We thank you all for being here this evening. We'll go ahead and move on then. So under our omnibus this evening, I'm going to ask for a motion, please, to approve items A through D and acceptance of items E and F.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Krusek. And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Martinez. Any item for separate consideration this evening? Thank you. So if we have nothing, I'm going to ask if our administrator would please review the items for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the board, good evening. Item A, ordinance 2022-27 is an ordinance amending the village code of the Village of Woodridge, Title 7, Chapter 5, Article D, Water and Sewer Regulations, Fees and Rates and Charges, Section 7-5D-2B1 and 7-5D-2B2. Item B, ordinance 2022-28 is an ordinance granting preliminary and final plat of consolidation for 1308 and 1312 Pin Oak Court. Applicant is DJK Custom Homes, Inc. Item C, ordinance 2022-29 is an ordinance granting a minor amendment to a site plan at 7515 Janes Avenue. This is the Fifth Third Bank ADA improvements. Item D, ordinance 2022-30, an ordinance granting a minor amendment to a special use for a regional planned unit development. Address is 6315 Main Street. This is Main Street, excuse me. It's for the Ike and Oak patio and pergola. Item E, are accounts payable registers for April 15th and April 22 in the year of 2022. And F is credit card registers for February 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
Trustee Kagan,
Aye.
Trustee Abbott,
Aye.
Trustee Krusek,
Aye.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Under the mayor's report this evening, I do have a few items. First of all, happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Also, first up is our congratulations to our finance department for receiving awards for excellence again in financial reporting. The Government Finance Offices Association of the United States and Canada has awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting to the Village of Woodridge for our annual comprehensive financial report and fiscal year-end report December 31st, 2020. The report has been judged by an impartial panel and has given the highest standards for our financial reporting. This certificate of achievement, again, is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting. And we are so thrilled to congratulate Director Aletto and the entire finance department. Congratulations, everyone. Great job. Woodridge earns Mark of Distinction receiving Tree City USA Growth Award from the Arbor Day Foundation. Woodridge received a Tree City USA Growth Award from the Arbor Day Foundation in honoring our commitment to effective urban forest management. The Growth Award recognizes major milestones and annual activities in 5 categories on a point-based system, and Woodridge received high recognition in this area. We thank very much our entire Public Works Department for all of their hard work and dedication in our community. This is an outstanding achievement, and our congratulations, Director Bethel, to you and your entire team. Thank you so much for the excellent works. Some notes that I did want to pass because I think it is important. Many of us have been watching or hearing on the news that unfortunately the Illinois Department of Natural Resources has issued a public recommendation regarding any bird feeding, bird baths, bird feeders that are out, that because of the pathogenic aviary influenza, they are recommending that you please do not use any type of bird bath or bird feeders until they have given the date of May 31st, or until they come back out and do designate that it is okay in the Midwest to go ahead and put your bird feeders and bird baths out. So we will follow up with more information, but thought it was very important to mention it to everyone today. Governor Pritzker and the Illinois Housing Development Authority announced recently that the Illinois Homeowners Association Fund was opened last month to help homeowners who have fallen behind on mortgage payments or any related housing expenses during COVID-19. There is information available as well as that you can apply for assistance, and the information can be found on the Illinois Housing help.org. The applications will be accepted through May 31st. Information is available online. And then a few other items. The Woodridge Rotary, and many people look forward to this every year with regards to their annual recycling extravaganza, which will be held right on the heels of Earth Day. So it is going to be this Saturday, May 7th, from 8 until 11 a.m. at Cypress Cove Family Aquatic Park at 83rd and Janes Avenue. Again, the time is from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. this Saturday, May 7th, 2022. We thank the Rotary for their annual great works, and I know it is just a wonderful event, and thank you to our Rotary Club. Last, our Prince of Peace Church in Woodridge, their annual garage sale has returned. So we just received word that they will be hosting on May 12th from 9 until 3. That's a Thursday, then Friday again from 9 until 3, and Saturday, May 14th. So it's May 12th through the 14th. The hours are available through Prince of Peace right on their website. Prince of Peace Church, Lutheran Church, is located right on 75th Street. We're excited that they're able to go ahead and host that again. And thank you all. That is my report. And Administrator Stonich, your report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. First item A, Resolution 2022-48 is a resolution awarding bid number 2022-07, sanitary sewer televising and cleaning to Hydro Vision Technology LLC out of Romeoville for the Woodridge sanitary sewer basins B and E.
Thank you very much. Going to ask for a motion to approve Resolution 2022-48.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Page. A second, please.
Second, Kagan.
Thank you, Trustee Kagan. Any discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Blair.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next item B, Resolution 2022-49 is a resolution to approve the award of bid 22-00088-00RS for the 2022 MFT resurfacing project to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder, who was Geneva Construction Company out of Aurora, Illinois.
Thank you very much. Going to ask for a motion, please, to approve Resolution 2022-49.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Krusek. A second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Martinez. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Abbott,
Aye.
trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan. Motion passes.
Last item this evening relates to the village's new facilities improvement project. This is ordinance 2022-31, an ordinance authorizing a zoning amendment from the B2 community shopping to the M1 manufacturing zoning district, a zoning text amendment to our electronic message boards within the M1 zoning district in conjunction with a special use for public service, a preliminary and final plat of consolidation, special use for preliminary and final plan unit development, phase 1 only, special use for public service use and special use for an outdoor storage, 7215 Janes Avenue, 7235 Janes Avenue, 7245 Janes Avenue. And Director Porter is here this evening along with Craig Meadows from Studio GC to present to you.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. So myself and the applicant Studio GC, Mr. Craig Meadows, on behalf of the Village of Woodridge, we're going to tag team this presentation if we may, and then we'll be able to answer any and all questions. I will provide some highlights of more technical overview from our Plan Commission meeting that was held on April 18th, and then Craig will provide some of the prettier pictures of the site. So before you is a location map of the subject property, which is currently vacant. It is located on the east side of James Avenue, approximately 1,800 feet north of 75th Street. It's comprised of two lots, two contiguous vacant lots, and the subject property currently possesses two different zoning districts on this particular lot. The James Avenue frontage is actually zone B2, and then that back half is zone M1 manufacturing. There are several zoning entitlements that are required for this particular project. Studios GC, the applicant, again, on behalf of the village, is requesting consideration again of the following zoning entitlement requests. A zoning map amendment, or as known as a rezoning, a zoning text amendment to allow electronic messaging boards in the M1 manufacturing district. They're also seeking a preliminary and final plat of consolidation, a special use for a preliminary and final plan unit development plan and plat, and that is just for phase 1 of this project only. A special use for a public service use and a special use for outdoor storage. And there are two components of outdoor storage. Studio GC did receive a recommendation of approval from the Plan Commission at their April 18th meeting, in which they received a vote of 6-0. Some of the highlights. In addition to a rezoning, and that rezoning is to rezone that front half of the parcel that is zone B2 to M1 to complement the back half of that particular project. The importance of that rezoning is that a municipal building is not allowed in a B2 district. So this rezoning is necessary. Additionally, a zoning text amendment is being sought to allow electronic messaging boards or EMB signs in the M1 manufacturing district. This particular, of all the zoning entitlements sought, this particular request ignited a lot of conversation from our plan commissioners with respect to the request to amend our zoning code to allow EMB signs in the M1 manufacturing district. So currently, the code allows for EMB signs in property zone residential, provided that they serve non-residential uses and they have a special use permit, properties that are zone B1, B2, or B3, and golf courses. The Plan Commission had concerns with if this was added to the code strictly as presented, other manufacturers would want to put in these illuminated signs blinking all night long adjacent to residential uses. So what is before you is a modified recommendation per the Plan Commission to allow electronic messaging board signs in the M1 manufacturing district for entities that possess a special use permit for public service. Public service is defined as municipal buildings or utilities. The ordinance reflects such change. Plat consolidation is needed. So currently, or the before, you see parcel A, which is currently zone B2, and then that back portion is zone N1 manufacturing, and after would just provide one singular lot in which will contain this entire additional municipal campus. Plan your development plan and plat. Preliminary and final is required. I provided a snippet of the preliminary so you can kind of just get an idea of all the different components with respect to this massive endeavor that the village is undertaking. The boxes in red are just the outdoor storage components in which we'll be seeking a special use permit for those two as well within the zoning entitlement requests. Some of the site improvements: parking. Both phases of the project requires a total of 159 parking stalls per the village code. The applicant is exceeding that amount with providing 188 stalls. Landscaping, Plan Commission was very excited about this. The applicant will be exceeding this requirement by 148 points. They're providing 15,975 points as required by the code. Plan Commission was very happy to see this. The team was very thoughtful when thinking about providing landscaping to not only meet the village's requirements, but also to beautify that campus. And then signage. Only the location of the sign is being considered tonight. A separate sign permit will be needed if the project is approved. Access and traffic. So a traffic study with many projects is required. And it was conducted by the firm KLOA, in which they provided the following conclusions. They felt that the traffic that will be generated by this proposed police and public works facilities will be accommodated by our existing roadway systems. The intersection of 75th with James Avenue and the Center Drive with James Avenue has sufficient reserve capacity to also accommodate the additional traffic to be generated by the proposed facilities. And they're not recommending any roadway or traffic improvements. And the final conclusion is that the proposed access system will be adequate in accommodating the traffic projected to be generated. Zoning relief. There are three deviations or zoning relief that is being requested. The first would be the salt storage, the height of the salt storage. So the code allows for a 40-foot maximum height, and the applicant is seeking the height of 54 feet. And that is due to the size of the property, how the village calculates height, and the significant elevation differentiations across the site. So this zoning relief is necessary in order to be able to accommodate a salt storage facility of this size. Outdoor storage. So this is an elevation of the outdoor cold storage. As you can see from this elevation in that highlighted red box, there is a need for outdoor storage containers out front, as well as for the salt storage. This is salt storage elevation, and up top you see that those are bins. So those are also needed to assist the Public Works team with additional storage for their needs. And the sign service area allocation. So the sign is tentative, this elevation. Again, we're only seeking approval of the location only. The applicant is seeking relief from the sign surface allocation to increase it to 65% from 50% in case this is the sign elevation that they decide to move forward with, because this does in the box includes an EMB, that's the EMB sign component. So there's a chance they may not need the relief, but it's better to request it now so that they don't have to come back before the Plan Commission and the board with requesting this level of relief. And that concludes staff's overview from a technical standpoint of the project. Mr. Craig Meadows will provide you a quick overview as well of the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, please. Trustee Martinez?
I got a question. Location of signage. You're looking for approval, but I'm a little confused as to where the sign would be facing. Is it going to be facing toward James Avenue? It's going to be facing toward 355. It's going to be.
Okay.
I'll explain it on one of my slides, sir. Just to help identify.
I'll wait. Thank you.
Any additional questions?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Any other trustees have any questions at this time? Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Hello again. My name is Craig Meadows from Studio GC. Happy to be in front of you all again. Frankly, today's meeting, you've seen most of the imagery, but thought it would be best to kind of come up here and walk you through essentially the same presentation we did to the Planning Commission, so you get a sense of the kind of contents and flavor of it. So we'll go over a bit of a site review, and then we're going to kind of go over the building exteriors. Again, you've seen most of these, but not necessarily kind of in that order. One of the things, as Ms. Porter talked about, we have an extensive landscape plan. So as you can see on the property, and one of the things that we have done kind of as a team with Public Works is also try to make sure that the site and the landscape is maintainable, works well with the basins for native plantings inside of that, and then in fact exceeds the requirements for the landscape. And this is not like we just packed it all in the front and got all our points there. It's actually spread pretty well to provide some screening around the entirety of the property. Yes. Yeah, I was just getting ready to do that. So I don't know so I'm moving the mouse in that area. The sign is right here. So it's basically a fin sign. So you can look at it perpendicular to the road so you can see it in both directions, as opposed to it parallel to the road. So you have to kind of crank your head to look at it. But it's right at that northern entrance or exit roadway to allow people to kind of identify that's the main public entrance as well.
So the sign faces south and north.
Correct.
Right on James Avenue.
Right on James Avenue. Mhm. These are the pictures of the entrance to the building, which is what most people will see. So that's the Memorial Plaza, as well as the signage on the outside of the building and the main entrance. You'll see on the right side, the James Avenue as F1 is coming up off of that north entrance. And then the police department sign as a kind of concept at this point in time, because we officially couldn't submit anything until we got approval for the EMB on it. One of the components that we talked about is there's a lot of potential items to pack on this sign, such as Public Works, future Public Works, material storage, police. That's a lot to try to fit on it and make the letters big enough to be able to see from James Avenue. That's why we're requesting the relief. These are the elevations of the police station. It's nothing more fun than taking a really pretty picture and boiling it down to an absolutely flat elevation, but that's how we submit these things to the Planning Commission. The notes on there just describe the various materials. While not particularly germane, it aligns to the images that you all have seen thus far and through the past presentations. This is the south elevation, which I joked in the presentation most people won't ever see unless they're probably being arrested. So I hope none of you ever see it. And then the west elevation is one that's facing the Public Works side of the property. Cold storage. This is a precast building, and it is a fairly straightforward. The 4 circles, which are a part of the kind of relief requested for fencing, those are salt brine tanks. So we can't have a fence around it to be able to get the trucks access to it. Salt storage. This is the salt storage bin, hold 3,000 tons of salt. It's important, as I think we've discussed in the past, about being able to give the village an opportunity to stockpile salt, buy salt at opportunities where it's most cost effective instead of in the middle of winter when it's not. One of the things to note on that is the particular way that the village counts height. We're not constructing, just to be very, very clear, a 54-foot tall salt building. It's only about 37 feet tall, if I remember correctly. So if it was on a flat site, we would be fine. But because there's about a 15-foot rise across the entire site, we have to count it from James Avenue. And one of the questions that came up in the Planning Commission meeting is how far away is that from James Avenue? It's about 1,000 feet. So across that 1,000 feet, it rides about 20 feet. And then we end up with that plus our height, which ends up at 54. So it's just a kind of a weird configuration of how things are calculated. So we requested that relief. That is my presentation today.
Thank you very much. I'm going to open it up to see if anyone has any questions.
Question. So basically, if you look at the buildings from James Avenue as you're driving by, remind me again how high or how is the police department?
So the police department's about 4 feet above James Avenue, and then it rises about 25 feet. in height. And it's well in front of, so perspective is actually helping you so that it kind of starts to block things behind it. And then particularly if the future salt, when the future public works facility is built, that's going to pretty much block the view of everything on site. So
So I think you answered my question. So basically, the grade and the police department height will sort of shield.
vast predominance of anything happening back in that area.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Martinez. Anyone else, please? Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate the presentation and information. I'm going to ask, please, for a motion. There's no further discussion to approve ordinance 2022-31, please.
So moved, Kagan.
Thank you, trustee Kagan. And a second, please.
Second,
Thank you, trustee Martinez. Any discussion on this item? Our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Krusek,
Aye.
trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
aye.
trustee Blair,
Aye.
trustee Kagan,
Aye.
trustee Abbott.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much, everyone. Would like to thank everyone for joining us here this evening for the presentations and information. Please do take good care and always stay connected to the Village of Woodridge. We appreciate that truly. And as always, do please shop local, shop Woodridge and support our businesses, our restaurants. They all need our support and it truly makes our community strong. There's no further business to discuss. We do have a need for to convene, an executive session immediately following our adjournment this evening. The purpose of this executive session is to review and discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals of the public body. Also, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employment. Also, any pending, probable, or imminent litigation. Going to please ask for a motion to adjourn our regular meeting for the village board this evening.
So moved.
Thank you. Is that trustee Krusek?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Kagan. All those in favor, please sign aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone. We are adjourned. The time is 7:38 p.m. Motion does carry. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone.